Okay, the class is on recording now. So welcome to tonight's session. All this while we've been trying to understand what data science means or what the data means, but tonight we've gone past that stage now. We've all known what data science and data means, so we have to start by taking our first major step into data manipulation and analysis, and that will be trying to use Excel to do data analysis. You know, Excel and spreadsheet has been the most powerful tool for data manipulation and analysis, and is the most common tools used up to today for data manipulation and analysis. Although technology, things are getting advanced, but still is still very much respected in the industry. So most small companies are still using it. It's very effective, it's very powerful, and is affordable. And that's why a lot of people are using it. And most of the other technologies, you see that most of them were created out of Excel. So for us to advance and call ourselves data analysts, we must have to understand the fundamental aspects of data analysis with Excel. So let's dive into our lecture notes where we'll be looking and doing a bit. We're going to start doing a bit of practical from tonight. Everything we're going to be doing going forward will be involving some practical aspect of data analysis. So just like I've just mentioned, Microsoft Excel and spreadsheet, because the what you get from Microsoft Excel is what you get from Google Spreadsheet. If you don't have Microsoft Excel, it's okay. Well, we can use Google Spreadsheet. As a matter of fact, for this lesson, I'll be using spreadsheet because it's the same thing. It's just that it's from different companies, but every functionalities Microsoft Excel have got, we have it in spreadsheet. So it's one of the most widely used tool for data manipulation and analysis across various industries. Its user-friendly interface combined with a robust set of functions makes it an essential tool for organizing, analyzing, and visualization of data, whether working with small data sets or a large data set. Excel provide a range of features that allow us to clean, structure, and drive insights from raw data to efficient refined data or information. So in this, we are going to explore key functions such as VLOOK. We have VLOOK. We are going to equally look at pivot table using pivot table, conditional formatting, and basic mathematical operation with items like sum, average, if. So these are the things we plan to achieve. So we look at the use of basic functions like sum, we have average, we have if, we have VLOOK to handle data. Then we're equally going to look at clean data by removing duplicates, and then organizing data using pivot table, and formatting data using conditional formatting. So is going to be broken down into this. This is the way we are going to be approaching it. The first thing, we cannot do all this. This might take us like even 1 month to achieve this Excel, using Excel. So because it's going to be a lot. So the first thing is the basic formatting in Excel, and that will cover areas such as some basic and logic. Going to be basic and logical formatting. So it's going to be sum, average, count, mean, max, if, VLOOK, and HLOOKUP. Then we have data cleaning with Excel. That is going to be removing duplicates, handling missing values, and data validation. Then we'll have pivot tables with Excel. We are going to create an interactive pivot tables, analyzing data trend and creating examples. We are going to use a case study. After we must have understood this, we are going to have a case study of FoodTrackO, where we will be analyzing FoodTrackO sales data to help them make informed decisions. So this is where the FoodTrackO will be coming in, where we are going to be doing our internship. So, but before we get to here, we must have covered these areas: basic and logical function, data cleaning, and pivot table. So that's what we plan to achieve under this topic, data manipulation and analysis in Excel. So this is it. So the first thing is to understand this basic and logical formatting. That is the first thing we plan to achieve. It's going to give us the background we desire or we needed, because we cannot just jump into pivot table. Sum, average, mean, count, it might be looking so elementary to us, but we cannot jump it. Is the foundation we plan to build. We need to have these building blocks before we jump into most companies, I know. But still, all this, as a data analyst, you find out that all these values at some point in your work as a data analyst, you see yourself doing a lot of summation, a lot of average, a lot of count, mean, max, if, and even this VLOOK and HLOOK, this is still very much in use. So we are not going to jump any of them. So I don't know their level of knowledge. Some of you might have knowledge of some, but we are still going to cover them. So that is what we plan to achieve. So the first thing is this basic function. This function allows you to perform fundamental calculation in Excel, such as summing value, finding average, and identifying minimum/maximum values. They are commonly used in analyzing data sets. So the first thing we need to understand is how to use a sum function to do data analysis. Okay. For you to do a sum function, there is a syntax you need to use. This is like every profession, like in data analysis, we have to use a lot of syntax or querying language. That is the mostly common, a lot of querying language, because you need to query the data base in order. This Excel is a database. You need to query it, all these data sets. You need a syntax or a set of code to query them in order to get the information you are looking for. So we call it syntax. So have a syntax like this in this format. You use this query the data set in an Excel, and it's going to get you the value you are looking for. So this lecture note is highly broken everything down so that we can take it one step at a time and understand it. Even if you've not done it before, even if, as long as you are following it step by step, the way I'm going to be handling it, is going to be very easy for you to understand. You might be seeing calculation or mathematical or table like this is not so difficult. This is what we call data sets. A table like this is what we call data sets. And this is simple. You might say, but at times you will see a data set that is very long, and for you to try to understand or scroll down to get to, it's going to be difficult. So that's why we use syntax like this to query this data set, and then it's going to give us the information we're looking for. So in this table, see the table here will have A and B, which is A is the column A is day, and column B is cells. This is the day of the week, and this is the cells made within that day. So if you want to calculate the total cell for the week, all you need to do is to apply this syntax, and it will help you to calculate the cell for the week. And that's it. You get the result. So you see, if you're trying to calculate it using calculator, it's going to be difficult. You might have a table like this that contain almost 1,000 cells. So how do you do that? Are you going to use calculator to start? You can't do such. It's going to be difficult for you to do. So that is where this comes in handy. So we are going to go to Excel to do this basic manipulation here. So what I have to do is to copy this value, and I'll go to Excel, and you see how we are going to use it. And that's it. And then come to Excel. So if you, what I'm using here is Microsoft, Google Sheets. So if you want to follow as you are doing, you can open, and this is Google Sheets, is free. Once you have once you have Gmail account or Google account, you can get this for free. So you see here, I will paste this value I've copied, and I'll use Control V, and see this is the value here of pasted. So what am I planning to do? I want to know the total cells for this without using calculator to calculate this. So we have a syntax for it. This is column A and column B. So let's get the syntax for this, and once you start from, let's see, from here, what you have to start is, if you want to write it, all you need to do is equal to sum. Is going to prompt a value that come out. This will automatically come up. So if you don't, you can just select it and it will give you the answer. So for instance, I want to do this now, and here, oh God. Okay, sorry, I've deleted this by error, by mistake. I'm going to okay. All right. So this is where we were before we had this. Okay. All the sum. So I want to write it. You need equal to sum. So you see it here is highlighted here, equal to sum here. And you put parentheses and B1 and B7, and then you get the answer. What you mean is that B1, B2, and B7, this is the B, column B. You concept this value, that is where it starts from here. B2 and B7. That is what it means. B2 and B7, that is calculate everything, and then it's going to give you the answer. So, and this is it here, is highlighted, and you see it gives you 100, 1,000. So that is it here. Look at it up here. That is the syntax. You see this syntax, that is it here. That's how you get this. So if you try it, so this is going to be, let's say, total. And so that is how you can actually get this. So this is how you can use this syntax sum in Excel to manipulate a data set like this. So if you have 1 million data sets, all you need is that within a second, you've got the answer here, or you got the total sales. It can be the sales for this is for the week, for the year. You apply it and you get the same thing. So it's very simple to do this. Are we together? Is anyone struggling on how to apply this sum function to get a value from a data set?
I am good. There's no issue.
Yeah, so this is just it's very, very important. Some of us might be underlooking that, but it's very, very important because most of the data you'll be working on, maybe a colleague can just ask you to get the total sale for the year or the total sale for the week or this. You don't need to go and start using your calculator as a data analyst. You don't. All you need to do is apply this syntax and it will give you the value. So that's why some of all this will have to start from these basics to understand, because they are still very valuable. We still use it up to today. Okay, let's move on to another function. Okay. Another function here is average. See, average is similar to the first function. This one is just, if you type equal to sum, it will prompt for you to select this. So like we said, this is what we are selecting, B1 and B5. Like here is B1 and B5, and you get this. So that is it here. You get this value, some of these things. Then the same thing we did, we have average function. The average function calculates the mean. That is average of a range of numbers. And we can apply this syntax, just very similar to the one we've done above. And we'll have to get the mean, that is the average. So let's go up again to our data set and then get the mean of this. Okay, let's say the average here going to be equal to average. You see, I'm trying to type the average, but you see it here is giving us here. That is it here. You can see it is giving us the average already. And once we select it, that is it, 200. That is the average of this. And that is it here, equal to average B2 and B7. So we select B2 and B7 for this, and it's going to give us this. That's it. And this is just very simple to do. So let's look at another one. So you see the way we are using this syntax to query these data sets. If we have 1 million, we want to know our average sales per this is per day. We can even use this if like we have 1 million cells or per year, we can use this to get the average cells per a year, but this is just a week. So we can apply it in a very large data set, just the way we did, and simple, we get the average. So we know what we are really, if we need to go up, or a company need to go down, if company trying to know their capacity per day, this is very key on understanding their capacity per day. You see, some days they will sell 100, at times they will sell 3, but they need to understand the average capacity. You see where this comes very handy. So let's move on to another function. And this is average. And let's go to count. So count here is count the number of numerical values in the range of cells. So for example, here, if you want to count how many days we record cells for, you could use this. So all you do is just the way we apply these to both average and sum. We apply it this way and we get the count. So let's go and do the count on our data sets. So we do equal and do count, and count here. You see it, you selected it, count here, that is it here. You select it, is 5. You see the way I did it, just equal to count. You see this value here, that's the syntax. You apply it, it's so you mean you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's it. So that's the how many times per week they are making a sale. So that is just 5 days. It means they don't sell on weekends, they don't sell on Saturdays, and they don't sell on Sundays. So okay, let's move on again. So these are just the basics. It's good to understand it from the basics. So here is the mean and the max. The mean and the max function. So the mean and the max function return smallest and the largest value in the range respectively. And this is how we are going to do it. Use the syntax, equal to mean or equal to max, you get the values. So let's do the mean first and then the max and see. So start by equal to mean that's mean here, and we select it. You see it here, it's 100. That's the mean, the minimum value here. So the minimum value of cells we've made here is 100 naira or dollar or this. So this is the minimum. minimum sales. So let's try to understand the maximum. It's very simple. We are looking at it. It might be looking simple, but it can be very, it can be very effective if you're applying this on a large data sales. But we are going to get there. But let's start from the little one, because some of us might just be starting. So let's do the max. So to do the max, we do max, and then that is it. Here you see it's already populated. We select it, and that is 300. And if you check here, you see it's 300. That's it. That's how we can apply min and max to understand the minimum and the maximum value. So these are what we call basic functions. Basic functions when you are trying to use Excel or spreadsheets in data manipulation. These are the basics. So are we good? Are we good on these basic? Are we following these basic functions? Or are we any of us struggling to understand how these basic arithmetics we can apply in data manipulation using Excel? So this is the basics. We are not advancing yet. So okay, for Alex.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I've been following through using the Google Doc as but then I'm looking at what if, sir, we have like a lot of columns that are more than that B with the figures, and you want to know the minimum. So how will you now? Will you start creating column for that, or you just do only that B down? Because we realize there's some data set you have a lot of values that are different from just one column.
If you want to, like you have different columns that require you select that contains the same value. Like you see here, let's look at this. For example, so this is a table, and this is, say, days of the week. And so you mean like we have another column here?
Yes, sir.
So this column will be for what?
Let's say another task, or another like maybe another form of a job that the company did apart from sales that has to do with figure, or maybe it could be allocation of resources.
So if they have such,
or let's say expenditure.
Okay, good.
Let's say expenditure.
Expenditure, this is their sales. You cannot, the data is not related. Like this is the sales. I know this, if it's a related data, it can be, but for instance, we are talking about understanding the sales, the amount of sales they make. So how can you bring the expenditure, calculate the expenditure and the sales data together? What will you try to achieve on that?
Okay, let's go on, sir. Maybe when we get to more.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand, because if you have expenditure, yeah, this can be cost, under costing. costing is different from this is sales coming from their return. They want to understand their revenue. So if you are trying to use this, it's not going to work that way, because what we are just is, but we are going to come to complex for trying to see. But for now, this is, I don't see how you can, or maybe you are talking about if they are selling maybe different products. And then you want to understand the total sales of all the products.
Yes, like product A, company that into different products, and they make sales Monday to Friday, and this is for B, and which you have done. Then the others, how will you now work on it on the Excel sheet?
I think what he means is, sorry, good evening, sir. I think
Yeah,
what he's trying to say is, like, for instance, if we have a column of A, B, and C, maybe something else in column C and D, so maybe for all how we're going to go about getting the mean, the average, maybe, I don't know if I got what you mean, Mr. Ofo. I don't know if it's what you mean. Like, if we have extra column, how we're going to maybe add the details. So, but my question is, are they going to give you a data that you will be able to find the average, the mean, or they're going to give you a complicated thing? Maybe you're going to go around and find a way you're going to solve the problem. Just wanted to know.
Well, they are not going to. The only thing they are going to give you is, like what we are looking at here is the sales for the week. So it can be long, but if you have complicated data, where we are going to come to that to look at complicated data. But in a complicated data, you can still use if the data is related. But if they are not related data, it's going to be difficult. You know what I'm trying to say? If it's related data, then you can still highlight all of them and find highlight all of them and find the mean. But if they are not related, it's not going to work. Like, you bring data that is not related, try to find the mean, it's not going to work because they are not related. So that is that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So we are going to come to where we have to use, this is just basic to find. There is a way we can query, that's what we call logical, but we're coming to that. This is just the basics. Basic mean, basic average, basic summation you can apply. But if you come to complicated data sets, that is what we're coming to, and we'll use it if functions to do that. So let's look at it briefly. Because of time, we're going to look at it briefly, and we're not going to go deep into the but there is how to manage or to query complicated data. You use logic. That we call it logic. This is just basic data syntax we are using for now. You see this one here. This is just basics. We're not using, we see basic here, basic summation, 1 column, 2 column, but when we are coming to here, we see This is what we call logic function. This is where we can apply to a data that may be a bit complicated, because you have to use logic to query the data set in order to get value. So here is logical function in Excel help to evaluate data based on specific condition. The most common logical function is if, and lookup function like VLOOK and HLOOK. This helps us to retrieve data based on specific criteria. This is where we might be looking at logical, complex data and things like that. So here we have example here. In this table, we have names and the cells. So these are the agents, and this is what every agent is selling per agent. This is sales per agent. You have John, Alice, Bob, and Carol, and this is what everybody is selling. And this can help us to understand a particular target. If we want to understand if a particular agent is meeting the target or exceeding the target, this can help us to understand that. So this is a bit logical. It's not just like the first syntax where we are using, or the first form of functions where we are just using basic sum. So this is, if it happened this way, then it will happen the other way. So this is exactly the way, if we are talking about like the way it works like SQL. I don't know, we are coming to SQL, so let me not rush it, but this is the way it works. Okay, let's look at this. If we want to check the cells for each person that exceed 500, so this is what we are going to use. If we use this syntax, it's going to give us this. So, for instance, here, if we want to understand who is hitting the target and who is not hitting the target, or who is below the target, this is the function if function. This is if logical function. And looking at this, this is the result for those who are, for John is below target, and for Alice is above target. So let's look at how this can be done in step by step to help us get this. In this data set, we have this in this column, and the first thing we need to do is to create another cell. You go to another cell, and then we create this if, and from then we scroll down to that. So let's take this. Okay. Come here. This is the syntax. So you see here, we see if B is 500, then above target and then below target. So now let us know who is above the target of 500 and who is below the target of 500. So that is it. You see John here is below target, is already. So if we want to understand everybody's targets, all we need to do is draw this down and yeah. So you see it here, we see that is how we get this. So what we use here is logical function. You see here where John is below target, Alice is above target, Bob 300 is below target of 500, and Carol is above target. So this is how we can use logic. So we can use logic to, query this kind large amount of database, but let's just get it from the basics. And this is the most basic of this logical function. I hope I'm making sense. Are we a bit confused?
Yes, it's just the formula. So
Okay.
But
Okay.
I follow through.
Okay. The formula here, like I told you guys that this formula is here. This is like a code. This formula is some of this formula you don't need to cram them, but all you need to have is like we have a library for almost all the formulas we are going to be using. Some of these formulas, they have a library for all these F or all these so all these formulas here. There's no need of you trying to cram them, but we create a library for them to use it in any way we want. So this is like a code. It's a code that will help you to query your database or your data sets. So it's not going to be, it's not, I know trying to see how you write this, But you see here is if logical test, the value if true, then another value if false. And you're looking at here, if the logical test here is A is equal to 500, then value if true is above target and value if false is below target. So the above target, above target here, you see the people that are having above target and the people having below target. I can see you guys are a bit confused, but as we are progressing, the only way to do this is just try to apply it here and see how, if you are getting it. That is the number one thing. Try to use it here and apply it and get it. Well, for this is simple. Just copy this code. If you can use it here and it works this way, that is number one of understanding it. Then know what you are the problem you are trying to solve. That is what the way you are going to understand it faster. Forget about writing the code or the syntax. Forget about it now. You have the code here, and know that once you apply this code here, once you understand how to use this code to query this data set and get this information or this value or solve this problem, let's say your company is have so many sales agents. So let's use a scenario base. Your company have so many sales agents, and any sales agent that crosses 500 will get a bonus. So 500 is a threshold for someone to get a bonus. And they have like 200 or 1,000 sales agents. And they want to know those that are going to be paid a bonus. And that a data analyst, the sales department, in order to pay him the bonus, they bring this kind of data set for you for 20 people and say, we want to know, help us understand those who crosses, because it's a large data set for them. So I'm giving you a scenario base so that you see how to use this to solve a problem. As you are solving the problem, forget about writing this code, because all this code is just a code that already existed in the system. So once you apply this, you should be able to. So once you understand how to use this kind of code, this if function to solve a problem, that is number one. Try to apply it and get it. Once you get it, forget about the code itself, if the code is what is confusing you. Well, the code is what we call if function. At this point, we are beginning to, take a bit advanced step, but it's not going to be beyond our understanding. I'm sure of that. Are you following?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So I want us to take it. I don't want us to go too fast in order to work. If we can understand it at this point, where we are at this point, just like I said, how you can use this syntax here to query this database on your own and be able to get this value like this. I'm doing it, then you are progressing. Just try to get it the way I do it. Once you're getting it, then understand what they are trying, the problem they are trying to solve. That is number two. apply this syntax and try to understand what they are trying to solve. As somebody who is coming into this is the first step you need. At least you can use a code to query. You can do it on your own. That's what I want you to do. Go to Excel's table. I'm going to share all these things. After this, I will upload the lesson document. Every step I took, try to perform it. All the steps I took, you perform it. That is the main. Okay, Ephraim, you are raising your hand.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
We are listening.
Okay, in respect to this below target, above target, as it was shown in the case of some average, minimum and maximum and all that, we found out that the syntax from the summation shows even if somebody that doesn't know that is being calculated from A2, sorry, from let me open the page. From A2 or A1 to the end of to Friday, which is A7. So you see it. But for the case of this above or below, do we even also put the formula there in order to generate the answer, or how do we go about that?
The formula, okay, you mean the system will, if the system is going to prompt?
Yes, like below target, above target.
Yeah, because
So,
this is different. This is different. This different function. You need to create a query before actually applying it here. You need to create this before applying it, because you need to tell them what you are. You see these values here, you need to create a value. It's not going to understand what you are trying to do, because there's no way here within the system it is recorded that you want to know whether it's above target or whether it is below target. So you need to create a value and then apply it. Unlike the other one, the summation is very simple. That the summation, you just want to understand the total number of this. So once you apply it, it automatically captures, it knows what you are trying to do. But under this, if you need value here, like let's say, let me go back to see here. This is the syntax here. You need to, that's what we call logic. You need to create a logic here. The system do not know the logic you are trying to create. So if you are writing, it's going to be difficult for the system or the Excel to prompt a value for you, because they don't have they don't know whether you are talking above target or below, because this is what you want. So you are creating a logic that is not in the system. So all you need is this logic test, you substitute with your own, and this value here, you substitute with your own, and another value here, value false, you substitute with your own. The system will be able to read based on the information available and answer, give you a solution. But like what you are trying to say in this, once you say mean, the system will capture and give you. It is not working that way in these logical functions.
So how does it work in the logical function? Does it mean that if you want to break?
That's what I
Can
said.
you
That
hear
in
me?
the logical function, you need to create a logic.
Sir, let me just explain something. Let me just chip in an idea.
Okay.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Well, I'm hearing.
Yes, sir. When I tried to do this, the last one you did now, that equal to if bracket, the system prompted below like a logic. But when I press enter, I did not bring out anything until I had to input a figure like equal to if bracket B2 less than 500, then the above target, then below target, before the data now came up on that 400 after under C column below target. Then when I just drag it down, it brought out the way you did it. So which support what you are saying, that you have to input a value for the system to bring the like the prompt that you are going to use to get other values. So I don't know whether that answers his question.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to explain to him, that you need, this is the syntax, but for it to work, you need to create your own logic. This is your own logic here. You just like what Ofo just explained here. You have to create your own logic before you can manipulate this data. And that is why we call it logical function. It's not like the other basic function that once you just put sum, this is different. It's a bit advanced now. We are getting advanced, where you need to write a piece. This is a code. We call it a code, a logic. So you have to apply your own piece of code to query this. But for you to get, you can see this is the format you are going to use to write this code, and then use it to query these data sets. And once you apply it, it should be able to give you the value you are looking for. Ephraim, are you still a bit confused?
No, I'm not confused. I'm okay.
Okay. Well, is the gradual steps. We are going to master it. This is the first step we are taking into trying to okay. And next.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
My question is the
Please, can
figure constant?
you put your radio sets?
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah.
Good. Good. My question is like for this example that you gave to us now, as John did not meet up the target now. What if the figure change? We still reflect.
If the John did not meet the target,
yes, it not get up to 500. It's below the
like you
target
can
now.
see in this figure, John didn't meet
Yes.
target, you know.
Yeah,
But
it's not.
if you change this, okay.
If you change the 400 now to something like 600, we still
Then
reflect
it will
above targets
change to above target.
automatically.
Yes.
Okay.
How much?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So if it changes value, if you add more numbers or more agents, as with the same query, with this same syntax or this same code, it's as long as this data set is concerned, it's going to be giving you either they meet their target or they did not meet their target. Like I said earlier, like if a company have like 1,000 sales agents, you see, when we are doing this query, we queried the first one is queried. We queried John. We apply this code to John only. So all you need to do is query the first value here. You query the first value, then drag it down to as number as it will, because the same code, apply it to every other value within the data set is going to give you the desired solution. Either it meets the target or it did not meet the target. So what we are trying to understand is who meet their targets. Is either it meets target or it doesn't meet target. So, but for now, let's understand it this way, and we'll look for a complex data, maybe to see how we can understand it more. But it's better we get it from these basics, and then we'll go up. So if we can understand it this way, then that is a good beginning. And as you can see, we've we are beginning to advance, but it's not so complex. It's something we can understand very well. The main thing I want us to understand is we are solving a problem. Try to use these functions to solve a problem in a data set. If you get it that way, that you are using it to solve a problem, that is number one. Every other things, manipulation or rewriting the code or the syntax is not a big issue. So the main thing, understand that you are solving a problem and how to use it to solve a problem. The way I did it, just apply it in your own. If you are getting it, then that is the main thing you need to get at this point. And as we are advancing, we are going to be understanding it better. This is just like if in programming language is similar. This is similar thing in all these data developers. This is just basic programming. So what we are doing here is at this point is beginning to be a bit advanced, is programming, you know. So, and this is the way we are going to equally query all this relational database using SQL when we get there. This kind of syntax, so it's better we start trying to understand it. In SQL, we have a lot of if functions there. So, Godwin, you're raising your hand.
Sir, sorry, I just want to chip in some things. I think this logical statement, this syntax if, is a conditional statement. That's which me I understand. A conditional statement that says if A is greater than 500, let the output be above target. But if it's below, then let the output be below statement. So every data set, every data provided has highest value and the lowest value. Then when trying to write the syntax, trying to put in the formula, then we have to check which number is which value or which digit is of highest value. That is what we input after the what we call the A1 greater than this. Then definitely after the conditional statement means that okay, if something is A, let it be B. If so it's just a conditional statement. That's what I understand about this this syntax.
Yeah, you can see it here. If the if function checks if condition, like said conditional statement, is already stated here. So, which is true or false. Like here, you see it's true or false here. And you see if this is true, if it's false, this. So he said here A is less than 500. That is what he's showing us. A is less than 500. So any figure that is less than 500 is below target, and any other one that is above 500 is above target. So it's just well, I will not say that it's very simple, because it's not, you cannot say, I'm not going to say it's very simple, because our understanding is different. So that's why I'm not going to say it's very simple. So, but that is the main thing, like I continue to say, is we are solving a problem. We are trying to solve an organizational problem. They are struggling to understand the amount of people that are meeting their target and not meeting their target. So let us understand it from that way, using this logic to manipulate this data set to get this value to help them make this decision. That is the mindset I want us, so that other things will become so easy for us. And but I will leave us to go. I will try to upload this as quickly as possible so that we can read up. I'll try to understand on our own, and maybe in the next lesson we'll come with maybe other questions and things like that. But we are going to be stopping in this if for this night. We'll have other ones. You see, this if I tried as much as I can to break them down. So by everything here, I try to use step by step. So if you are trying to do it, you follow the steps sequentially, even if you've not used Excel before. If you follow the steps, the way I break it down, you are going to be getting results. So just follow it here step by step the way I created it. I don't think we are going to struggle. So let's first get started with this, and then we'll move to VLOOK. By tomorrow, we are going to continue with VLOOK functions. So it's still, this is where the advancement is coming. We are getting more advanced, but it's good. We are progressing. So, like I said, we are stopping here tonight. And if you don't have any more questions, we can call it a night. If you have any other question, I'll still attend to it. But I think we've made good progress tonight.
All right, thank you, sir, for my side.
No
No
other
question.
questions, sir.
Okay.
No other.
Thank you, sir.
All right. See you guys tomorrow, and try to do any practice if you can. By tomorrow, I'll be expecting that you must have tried all this